Hello, hello, everybody. Jamie Trull, your favorite CPA and financial literacy coach here. And today we're going to be continuing the trend. We've lately been talking a lot about what I actually do, what I actually sell in my business, and how I was able to pivot my service-based business into one that is fully an online business, specifically making digital courses and other digital products. And so we're going to continue that today. And I'm actually bringing on a special guest, and it just so happens to be another person who has gone down a similar path, although a very, very different type of business. And I've watched her go down this path, and I wanted to share her with all of you so you can see somebody else's story. A couple weeks ago on the channel, I released more about my story specifically with how I pivoted my business. And now I want you to hear her story, especially if you're someone thinking about whether creating digital courses could be right for you, whether it's something that could fit into your type of business. Believe me, I think it can fit into a lot of types of business. You don't just have to be a finance person. I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. So with that, I'm going to bring up my special guest today. If we had a live studio audience, I would tell them to give you a round of applause, but we don't, unfortunately or fortunately. Our live studio audience right now is my puppy who's asleep on my feet. Yeah. So that's about it. How are you doing, C.Lee?
Jamie, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here beyond belief.
I'm so excited to have you on here because I've been watching, like I said, your story. I was talking to you a little bit before this, but I've been watching your story. I got to see it all play out from where you were before you went down this whole digital course creation journey to now. And I always beam with pride whenever I see your updates and things like that. So tell people a little bit about what you do.
So I am a certified professional organizer. There are actually fewer than 400 of us worldwide. So it is an actual thing. Like a CPA, I'm a CPO. Yeah. And I had been organizing in people's homes for almost 20 years. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the pandemic happened. And it just so happened that the pandemic kind of coincided when I was actually thinking about retiring. It's a very physical job, right? Literally putting my knee pads on and crawling around people's basements. And I'm going to be 59 this year. So I
don't know how you do it. I sit at my desk all day and I still my back hurts by the end of the day.
So I was 57 and I was definitely thinking about transitioning, and then pandemic hit. And literally, I legally could not go into people's homes unless it was a move project, right? Unless they had to have me there. And so that was a hard transition. And I was thinking, but I'm not ready to retire. I still have so much knowledge and so much to offer. And so I played around with virtual organizing, kind of one-on-one, but it was so frustrating. I'd be looking on the Zoom camera. I'm like, see that book? Pick it up. So I quickly realized that was not going to be a solution for me. And so it just so happened, because of you, and I have to say, you have saved me literally thousands of dollars. And I can't thank you enough, because you jumped in during the pandemic and read all of that financial knowledge. And I think it was my husband who found you. And he was like, hey, you got to listen to this woman. She's telling you how to fill in your PPP. I was like, oh, yeah. So I was an early adopter. I was there every Wednesday. Tell me how to do it. You were my lodestone, my guiding force during that time. And that's why it's so interesting, because when I delved into DCA, I thought, oh, Jamie's already paid for this for me 10 times over, right?
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So I'll just say, when I had been following you, I read all of your emails, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you were like, hey, could you teach a digital course? And I was like, hell yeah, I could teach a digital course. Mm-hmm. It had literally never occurred to me until you first suggested it in an email. And I pondered it, and then I got a couple more emails, and I pondered it. And I thought, this is the answer. This is what I can do. It was just kind of bing.
And that may be some of the people watching this may be in that same spot.
Yes.
I had that same moment where I'm like, oh, I'm burned out working one-to-one.
Yes,
Like, there's got to be a better way to do this, right? And to be able to
absolutely.
scale a business that doesn't eat all of my time and energy,
Right.
but still gets to make an impact. And in fact, in this business, I fully believe you can make an even broader impact, right? Because you're not limited to who you can serve. You can serve many
Absolutely.
people all at one time and help them with the problem that they have. And yeah, it was
Absolutely.
kind of nipping at my heels. Like the same thing happened where it was like, digital courses. Okay, I'll think about that. But for me, I'm like, I'm so busy. I'm just so
Right.
busy. I don't have time to think about this. And I think it like just kept coming up and kept coming up. So some of y'all might be hearing this and this, you're like, okay, this keeps coming up. Right. And I realized like, okay, if I ever want time, if I ever want to have the time to be able to, to do something like this, like I have to make it. I have to make it. Otherwise, I'm always going to be in this cycle of I have no time. Right.
And I think, you and I are both experts at what we do,
Yes.
undoubtedly, but I don't think you have to be an expert. It can be kind of like a hobby that you love or enjoy. I was actually talking to a friend of mine who, because my daughter was a classicist, she knows these people who do this kind of Roman army recreations.
Yeah.
And he knows everything there is about the costumes. And I'm like, you could teach this
Yeah.
in an online course because, and he was like, and I'm like, you know a lot about this, that, this is your passion. No, you didn't study it. No, you don't have a degree or certificate, but this is your passion. And he's
Yep.
like, oh, so, I mean, I think it really think about not just only what your profession is, but what your passion is what I'm
Yeah.
telling people. Yeah.
And I think that too, that's so true, because I think sometimes too, we think we need to know everything about everything.
Right.
And a lot of people, there's probably an area in your life. And so the question we've been asking is like, what could you talk about for an hour, right? Like, what could you just talk
Right.
about nonstop with no preparation for an hour? And name those things off the top of your head. And those may be the things that are in your sweet spot. So you can
Yes.
have a narrowly focused, what Amy Porterfield, who we're going to get to here in a minute, talks about as a spotlight course. You can have a very narrowly focused, like this is this subject on something really, really
Right.
well, but it doesn't have to be something that you have a certification in, or it can be, right? Depending
Right.
on
Yeah.
where you're at. So I think like allowing for that to kind of sit a little bit and try to figure out like,
Mhm.
okay, what is it that I could create something about? Like, is it related to a profession or a certification I have, or is it something I just love, right?
Yes.
And would love to teach and bring to the world, And I think sometimes we overthink it.
Uh-huh.
And I definitely did that. I don't know if you overthought.
I didn't. It was, I have to tell you, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. I had
I love
never
that.
heard of Amy Porterfield. I knew nothing of this whole digital world. You were my first and only introduction, but I think it just made sense. You spoke to me at the right time. I was in
Yeah.
the right place. And I think, just as you said, I knew I could make a bigger impact.
And I do think that the people that it makes sense for, right? Like, I think a digital course doesn't make sense for everyone. If you hate teaching, now you don't have to love being on camera, because
No,
I did not love it. I'm sure you didn't,
no,
C.Lee. You
no.
definitely, I know you're like me, right? You are, what do you call yourself? Not, is it a tech dinosaur? What?
I'm a digital
A
dinosaur.
digital dinosaur. I love that phrase, because I felt like I was not a techie person. It makes me laugh uncontrollably to think about the fact that I have an online business. It makes my husband laugh even more, because he's my IT guy and has to
Right.
come in and make sure my computer is plugged in half the time. So so you don't have to be any of those things,
No,
right? In
no.
order for this to work for you. And
I
I think
prove that to be true. You just have to be willing to learn
yep.
and to hire other people. And I've done both.
Yep, I've done both. Exactly. I think in the beginning, you start by kind of learning things yourself, realizing the things you hate doing, and
Yep.
then, you go from there. But it's definitely a journey. So tell us a little bit about that journey. So you made the decision, you saw my emails, which, brought you in, and you said, okay, this is interesting. Right. And so some other people are kind of like, yeah, I've had that thought that this could be good for me too. So you joined Digital Course Academy, which is getting ready to open up for the first time in 2022. I know C.Lee is also, I am an affiliate for the program because I love it so much. It changed my whole business. I know C.Lee is too. So I want to make sure to mention that. And because we
Well,
love it, right?
we are exactly. It's just
Yeah.
like anything, when you find a fantastic new restaurant, you tell your
Mhm.
friends, right?
Yep.
Things that make the difference to you, you want to let people know about
Yeah.
happily. Yeah.
Yeah, it changed everything. And I think the people that this is meant for, it can change so many lives. I've seen it change so many people's lives and businesses. And so it just makes you passionate about wanting to get this out there. And I think so many people think like, oh, it's that time has passed. This industry is growing like hotcakes still.
Oh,
Okay. It's changing, right? Like it's changing.
Yeah, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
It's the tip of the iceberg. And I think COVID accelerated the growth and people got more comfortable with online things. So people who maybe would never think about taking a digital course before now are a lot more comfortable with those types of things because they had to live in a digital world for
they
so
figured
long.
it out. Yep.
Yeah, they figured it out. So that learning curve, that objection, as we would call it in the online marketing world, right, is kind of gone out the window now. So your market is much bigger. Yes, there's more people out there doing it, but nobody's doing it the way that you would do it.
No,
right?
exactly.
Like nobody, everybody has something to add in this space. I truly, and I will put my flag in the ground on this, I don't believe there's competition. Like I don't feel like there's competition.
Amen.
Not to say people aren't doing amazing things, but I'm doing it the way I would do it. And so my people will find me.
And this is why we get along so well, because I mentor other organizers. And I remember I went to an organizing meeting and a woman came in. I said, oh, I'm from Arlington. She's like, me too. I was like, oh, that's great. She's like, oh, you're my competition. And I was like, stop 1 minute. First of all, I've been doing this at the time a decade. You just started. And we are collaborators. If you are my friend, I'm going to send you more work than you know what to do with. Like, there is no competition. That's like such a mindset of negativity. And I have an abundance mindset, right?
Yeah. And I think it's something we've been fed to, right? I mean, especially like this whole women versus women narrative, like, don't get me started at this point because the most influential, the people that have helped my business the most have been these amazing women who were willing to elevate other women and help me and, mentor and, doing all these things. I think we're coming out of that. I think we have to kind of realize that we're so much better when we work together. And that's what I love about, I think a lot of people are worried about jumping into digital courses and even joining through my bonus program. I know other accountants and bookkeepers and people in my space always get worried because they're worried, like, is this going to feel like competition if I join? And I'm like, no, like
there's
more
for
the merrier.
Everybody.
I love it when I think our industry needs this. And I'm sure you feel the same, right? It doesn't feel like competition. Okay. So you joined through my bonus program.
Yes.
So again, Digital Course Academy is opening in early September. So that's coming up. There are a few things going on before that. So if people are kind of want something to do in the meantime, I'm going to send them to jamietrull.com/online resources. I believe that's right. I will check that. jamietrull.com/online resources. And there's lots of resources on there for kind of starting to think about what kind of course do you create, right?
Yeah.
You can join my DCA waitlist so that you know what kind of bonuses I'm offering this time around. I can't announce them yet, but you can find that out and you'll be one of the first to know, and we'll keep you kind of updated. And there's lots of additional fun things going on, and we're keeping that page updated with all new things as they are coming out. So make sure to check that out if you're thinking about it. A bunch of stuff is free out here and great to just kind of start diving in and deciding if it's right for you. But what did you think about going through, my bonus program? Did you find it helpful to join
my goodness.
this way?
Yeah. I mean, again, I am so very appreciative and grateful for you, partially because what your bonus is, and I don't know what you're doing this time, but I'm sure it is along the lines of connection, right? You connected me randomly with 4 other women, and one of them has changed careers, but the other 3 I still meet with every week. This is nearly 2 years later.
I love that so much. Yeah.
And 2 of them actually met for the first time in person in Dallas like a week ago. And there was a photograph. And I was like, they're like, we swear to God, it wasn't Photoshopped. And I'm like, what was it like? And they're like, we know each other inside out. They were like, we just actually could hug each other. Right.
I know. Some of my best friends, I also met through DCA and other online ways. And when you see them in real life, you're like, this is crazy. But also I feel like I know everything about you.
Right. Exactly. I know your favorite food. I send you a birthday card. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that connection has been so, so very valuable. So I joined DCA in September of 2020, and it just so happened at the time I was mourning my one sister who had passed away. I was the executor, and my other sister, both of them 2 decades older than me, was extraordinarily ill. So I wasn't able to really dive in like I had wished I had wanted to, because I had other familial obligations. But I had these women, and I was showing up for them. So I have to say that they kind of forged the path for me. And they're like, okay, this is what's really important. This, you don't have to, they really helped me throughout the way. And, you also helped me because one of the things you did is you had kind of Zoom happy hours. And
I love my Zoom happy hours.
love that connection, seen all those smiling faces from around the world. I feel there were people sharing their perspectives, sharing their wins and their losses, right? Some people had it hard going. It just gives you the enthusiasm, the inspiration, ideas. They're like, oh, I should try that. Like, it hadn't occurred to me. Oh yeah, let me give that a good try. Oh, that didn't work for you. Okay, but maybe if I do it this way. So those bonuses were so very, very valuable. And of course, we're still friends today.
For me, creating these connections of people who were going through something very similar was so incredibly helpful from a personal perspective of friendships, right? But also from a business perspective, both in connections that you're making, people helping you seeing them, blaze the trail ahead of you. Also, there are several people that were in, that I got to know within Digital Course Academy that ended up buying my course.
Oh yeah.
So it was really great for that too, right? So you have this great community there. So it's so much better than going it alone. I thought about going it alone. I almost tried to do this all. I tend to like to be scrappy. So I was going to try it all on my own. And I just thought, why in the world am I not going with a proven track record? And there was so much benefit that I didn't even know I would get. And so we are really big on creating community. There will definitely be, there'll be resources, yes, within our bonus package, but also an emphasis on community and connectedness. And I like to personally be a part and see you guys go through your journey. I think it's I just love it. It is so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it just lights me up inside.
And your enthusiasm is contagious. Truly. I think that's, using the word contagious in the most positive way.
Yeah. These days, I don't know, but yes, I really do. I just get so much life out of it. That's why I love doing those, where I get to see people and actually hear stories and keep people going, right? Because that's the great thing, is that you do have access to all these materials. Amy lets you keep them forever.
Right.
And so a lot of people think oh, if I don't finish by the time the course is over, what's the point? And I'm like, in the grand scheme of life, if you're 3 months later than you planned, keep going.
I'm the best example. I literally purchased in September 2020, and I really didn't start until September 2021.
Yeah.
But that was okay, because I had, don't wait, right? Don't let another year go by. I'm so glad I jumped in, because I learned from my pod sisters, we call each other.
Yeah.
I learned from just absorbing whenever I had an opportunity. I would listen to a podcast, listen to colleagues, get in the chat, in the groups, and just try to learn, so that when it was my time, I was able to dive in. And I'm really proud of my success. I started with a Black Friday offer last November. So here we are, just 9 months later, and I've made $28,000.
I mean, that's incredible.
Right. And so I have a 1-year plan, a 2-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. I am all in. And it's because of you, Miss Trull. So my course is it's called the Paper Cleanse.
Cleanse, yes.
And so
we will link to it below. We'll link to
thank
information.
you. I appreciate that. It is a non-digital solution, right? So it's a way to help people go from clutter to clarity, and clear the piles, curate the files, and it will give them the paper organization they need. And I think, for what you teach, sometimes people have to get the paper organized before they can get their finances organized, right?
That is true. I have a lot of paper. I'm glad you can't see everything that's going on around here. Exactly. Yes.
And
Organization is critical.
yeah, so that for me, I've had students now literally from 3 continents, from the US, the UK, and Australia. And the changes, the transformation that people have achieved has
Yeah.
been phenomenal. Like literally, they're able to feel like they can go on vacation, that they can start. I had a student start a nonprofit. Um, spend more time with grandkids or and get their kids off to college. It's been so rewarding. I can't even tell you. So that's what feeds my soul, right? I love to teach. That's why I was a successful organizer, right? Anybody can come in and organize you, but it needs to be a long-lasting solution, right?
System, yeah.
When they leave, you've got to be able to maintain it. For an older student, it's somebody who really still wants the paper. They want to touch it. They want to feel it. They want to highlight it. They got their Sharpie. They're ready to go. That's who I'm for. So yeah, it's been so satisfying.
I love that. I love all of that. And there's something that you have that is available for free for our audience. If that sounds awesome to anybody, we've got to make sure to plug that.
Absolutely. So you live in Tennessee. You guys have had crazy weather down there, right? I mean, we have seen, I forget the exact thing, but a third of the country has been under a weather advisory of some nature in the last 3 weeks, right? And so I say, can you find your vital documents fast? And most people can't. And this worries me. This is my passion. I don't want anybody ever be caught out. So I have this vital documents guide. Go to CLEECAWLEY.com, CLeeCawley.com/guide. And you can get it. I've got a short video tutorial to talk you through it. It's an 11-page ebook. It's absolutely free. But this will help you get started. And this is one of the things that I feel so strongly about. Everybody needs to do this. And a lot of us don't know where our vital documents are.
So you've motivated me. Now I'm like, I'm going to go download the guide. Okay. So I love all that. We are going to put a link to the guide down below so that everybody can go and grab it. Go check out C.Lee's website and everything over there because she's doing awesome, awesome things. And I'm cheering for her all along the way. If you are interested in making your own digital courses, if you're interested, if you are talked into it, you say, okay, all right, you got me.
Do it. Let's do it.
Really thinking about it. I want you to go to jamietrull.com/online resources. Check out all the different things. Make sure you join my DCA waitlist. It's on that page. Or if you happen to be watching this when DCA is actually open, since some people will be watching this later on, it will link you directly there. So I want to make sure that everybody goes over there, checks out the free resources, gets on that DCA waitlist. That way you will find out what my bonuses are as soon as I am announcing them, which will be soon, but not yet.
and as a tip, Amy has updated it entirely, right? I don't know if we're
100%. I'm so excited to see it. I haven't even seen it yet.
I know, neither have I. But and she's keeping the price the same because I think we're all aware of economics and everything. So like if you're ever gonna do it, now's the time because
it's fully updated. Totally. And she's got some new strategies for 2022 and things that are working now. So if you're worried about it being stale, it's not. I can't wait to dive in there too. I'm going to be going through it all again this year. And I get to because I get to keep it.
Right. It's lifetime. It's lifetime.
When you buy it, you get to keep it forever, including the updates, which I think is absolutely fabulous. It's something I'm modeling in my courses too, because I think that that's really useful for your students to continue to provide value.
Always able to improve, right? Me too. I love that. I'm also looking at updating a few things. And it's not that my ideas have changed. It's that I realize, I can streamline that to make it even easier for my students, right? So having that path forward totally marked out is so essential. So I'm super excited about that as well.
Well, thank you so much, C.Lee, for coming on here. And I'm again continuing to cheer for you. I hope your next launch goes amazing. And I will talk to you soon. And bye everybody. Check out all the resources.
And it was a pleasure, Jamie. I can't thank you enough.